What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Erastus from Garment Creations, and on this channel you get tips and tricks to amplify your heat printing business. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. I will also appreciate if you can join the Facebook group. It's called Fire Up the Heat Press. So that's Fire Up the Heat Press on Facebook, and on that group you can drop your work, ask questions, just hang out with people doing this full-time or as a hobby. Again, that's facebook.com/Fire Up the Heat Press. So today in this video, I'm gonna show you guys how you can sublimate on these big beach towels using sublimation in our large format heat printer here. And we're gonna be doing this step by step. I did use my Epson 9900 to print out the artwork, and it's 44 inches long. You'll see everything in a second, but we're gonna walk you through step by step how to do this. And actually, I have an employee in the building and I'm doing this too. Come say what's up to the people. Yeah, say what's up to Jeremy. But this is just the documentation process, and this is sublimation. So we already walked through the state of sublimation. You know, sublimation is a gas process. So it starts as a solid after you print the artwork, and then that heat is what turns it into that liquid gas. All right, so it has to be done on 100% polyester. There's other people that's gonna say, yo, I thought I can use easy subli to put it on cotton, or I thought I could do this, put it on glitter. At that point, in my opinion, you ain't sublimating, bro. All right, so when you're doing sublimation, you must have 100% polyester, and preferably white. Okay, so that's how you're gonna get good results. The colors, everything's gonna be popping in here. And I know some of you are gonna say, yo, what color profile did you use? You gotta do some research. All right, whatever printer you're using, figure out on Epson and figure out what color profile is gonna work. But it took me a long time to get to a profile that's gonna work. So it takes a lot of testing, a lot of like burning materials, pressing materials to be able to get the results that I need. So this is not something that started overnight. It takes a lot of time, y'all. So y'all gotta spend time with your equipment. You already invested in the equipment, so I don't know what you're waiting for. Just spend a little more time and learn it. All right, but again, this was done, the artwork was done in Photoshop, and we're using Photoshop to manage our colors and all of that dope stuff. All right, so you're talking about what this thing is going to look like when it's done. Okay, so let's jump over onto this heat press here. Today we're using this large format heat press. This heat press here is a 30 by 40, and I got this from twolots.com. You guys go ahead, because I know all those comments are going to come into the comments. All right, so this is from twolots.com. They might not have it on stock, but it is a 220 line. You got to do all that and run that to make it work for you. All right, so I have this covered with butcher paper. You need the butcher paper to protect your asset. This is what happened when I didn't use butcher paper. My heat press is all dirty on one side, okay? But you want to make sure you use this butcher paper. We have this in the rolls, okay? Right back there, or it's right there. You just want to cover this to protect the top of your machine from the ink. Because this ink here, like I said, is a gas state. Once it heats up, it's going to spread out. You don't want to mess up your equipment. You don't want to mess up anything. So I always cover it with the butcher paper. All right, so now the next step here is our artwork, right? So this is our artwork. Again, like I said, I printed this 44 inches wide, okay? This here, we're gonna have to cut the top here off so we don't run into any issues, but this is the artwork. Printed in Photoshop, and now we're gonna grab one of these blankets. I'm gonna do a pre-press to make sure I get my wrinkles, my moistures, and everything out of there, and then we're gonna do the whole process. So let me know in the comments what type of sublimation printer you got, and what's the largest your printer can print, okay? I'm interested to know that in the comments, and also let me know what type of paper you're using, all that good stuff you guys talking about these days, okay? Okay, so this blanket here is about 58 inches wide, right? Like, and it's by 28 and a half in width. So what we're gonna do, I already, you gotta conversate with your customer, let them know what the design is gonna be. She didn't want this to be all over. She just wanted that design to be like center onto the artwork. So what we did, we set it up in a way where it's gonna be some blends on the side to fade into the white, so it doesn't look like there's a hard cut and all that. So, but the first thing I want to do here, I want to heat print or pre-press this towel. So again, our press here is only 40 inches. So to really do this, I'm gonna fold it in half. I just want to pre-press this. One reason why I'm pre-pressing it also, I want to get a good center mark, right? Just so I know where my center is to line up my artwork and all of that. But usually we don't do like the center line and all that good stuff. But for something this large, you want to make sure you have a nice center point so you're not messing people's stuff up, making sure it's all crooked. So again, I'm gonna fold this in half. Shake it, get all that lint and extra stuff out of there. I'm gonna lay it down here, nice and flat. All right, and we're gonna pre-press this for about 10 to 15 seconds just to get that moisture and stuff out of there. Just a matter of closing this up. Again, we talked a little bit about pressure. Right now, from the fact that I'm struggling to close it, it's a little too much pressure, but that's also because this is folded in half, so it adds a little bit more. So we can turn this down a bit. Try to remember like the same settings you moved, and then we're just gonna close it. It's gonna walk its way down, so I have the heat press set for 400 degrees. Okay, this one actually reads in Celsius. Okay, so it's at 400 degrees if you're in America and you understand Fahrenheit. And then it's gonna actually cook for 50 seconds. All right, but we're just gonna do a pre-press. So right now I'm able to open this up. You see it's totally manual. You have to close it, you have to open it yourself, and you got the pull-out drawer. Shout out to the pull-out drawers, man. If you've been under the heat press for a while, you know pull-out drawers are life changers. So you don't have to be underneath this heat platen. So we're gonna make sure that's covered. We have this nice and pressed. We can make sure the other side is the same thing. Just make sure we get all the wrinkles. Try to use your hand, get this thing as flat as you can. I'm gonna hit it one more time on the other side, right? Okay, so now it's heating up. It's gonna do its thing again. So you wanna do the pre-press to get all that moisture out of there. You don't know what this garment went through. You don't know how long it's been sitting. Just get all that moisture out of there, get that heat ready. And then it also helps to get some wrinkles out, okay? So now we're good. Just gonna open this up. Okay, so now, when I open up the garment, I have a nice center line going right through it. Okay, so that's just gonna give me an indication of what the center of this garment is, and I'll try to line up my artwork with that as well. So I'm gonna lay this down flat. Now I'm opening it up all the way. Move it back, making sure my paper stays. Okay, nice and centered. Make sure we got the same amount on one side, same amount on the other side. We're good. Spanish man said, "Da bueno, da bueno." Okay, I'm gonna hit it one more time just to get that line down a little flat. Feel me? You don't want to know anything to interfere with your time, temperature, and pressure. So right now I'm pretty good. Okay, I'm pretty good. I'm gonna grab my artwork. We're gonna get this laid out. So now with the artwork, you can also do this like the same thing if you wanted to fold it in half. That would work too, but this is not the same length as the thing here. So you just gotta eye it and make sure like your artwork is laid out into the space that you want. So your artwork is always printed in reverse when you're doing sublimation. So all that means I just had to go into the back end of my printer, hit that mirror artwork button, and then it was able to come mirrored. Because now when I put this onto the garment, it's in the right orientation. Okay, it's probably right for you now because it's on video, but for us it's backwards. That's normal if it's backwards, because now when I put it down and heat transfer it, it's gonna be good. So I'm gonna lay this down, making sure everything that's important is actually within the artwork. Make sure it's nice and centered, nice and straight. Everything is in where it needs to be. Don't worry about like the overlaps and all of that. Just make sure the important things are within the print area. And just know like our print area is here, because that's where the heat press cuts off at. And then you need to try to make it as straight as possible. Sometimes you can line up the paper with the blankets and all that good stuff, depending on what you're printing. Alright, so now we're good. Everything is good, it's laid out. We don't have to spend too much time playing with it. Just want to go ahead, close this thing up. And we're gonna let this cook for about 50 seconds, like I said. All right, and now when that's done, it's gonna start beeping. We're gonna take it off, and you'll be able to see that full transformation of what the sublimation process is. Again, but just to recap, it's 100% polyester. The artwork is done and printed and mirrored. Okay, we did our pre-press, make sure there's no moistures and no like lens or anything. And then we'll let this thing cook, man. Adding a little bit of pressure on there, and you should be good. Okay, so that's the process of sublimation. And if I'm right, and I've been doing this for a long time, and I know what I'm talking about, when I'm done there, that thing is not gonna be white. The colors are gonna be popping, and we are going to be moving on to the next one. And we have about 23 of these to do. We got all of these. It's beeping. It's time for this thing to come up. It's okay, like, you're not burning nothing that I'm talking. Oh, E, open it. Oh, you're burning the people's stuff.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it's not burning, okay? We can go ahead, pick this up. As long as you come to it in time, you got 60 seconds max, all right? So now, when I pull this out, you can already see like the transformation has already happened. If I pull this off the paper art right now, the ink is now onto the garment. All right, no ink is on the paper. Ink has left the paper. Now I can't do anything with this paper. This paper is trash now. So I'm just gonna fold this up. I like to fold it to save time in the trash can, or else it's gonna eat up all the space. So I just like to fold it up, roll it up, do whatever, and then take my MJ shots. Bam, and I miss. All right, so if you're finding value in this video, go ahead, smash the like button one time. So, just like that, we have our completed garment, fully sublimated, and it's ready to go. All right, so again, this is the process here that you can take with anything that's 100% polyester. And as long as it's treated for sublimation, it needs to be treated, guys. You can't just go ahead and grab anything and just say boom. All right, but when it comes to garments, it just has to be 100% polyester, and I love it. If it's white, you're gonna love it too, because then your colors are actually transparent. It looks like it's supposed to look. The red is red, my black is black. Like, it's just dope, y'all. It's just dope, and you know it's dope. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are. Do you like the design? Do you like the process? And all of that. So again, I appreciate y'all for watching this. We're gonna knock through all of these. Until next time, keep firing up that heat press, and I'm out of here. Look at her fighting with it. No.
It's so easy.
See what your first sublimated item look like, girl. Ooh. Ooh.
Look at the color.
Look at the colors.
The color.
That's what they're trying to get. You know how many people are trying to get this color result? Look at the colors, though.
Look at the color.
Look at the colors, though.
Look at the color.
Look at the colors. What you say? It's on what?
Stop. Period.
It's on period.
That's on period.
It's on period.